Today I'm going to be teaching you how to take your ship from this on the left to this on the right. The right side is much more combat effective, even though it's in a very, very similar price range. Let's take a look as to why. The number one thing is the crew pathing. You do not want your crew to have to walk across a ship. Take a look over here. Some crew taking energy from the reactor has to take this long walk through this stuff that anything that's not a corridor is half speed, so it's taking this walk I don't even know where they go up through there. It's crazy, and all the ammo's got to come far up and everything. Crew are not next to where they need to be. Versus you take a look over here, we have very short travel times to get to these main two shields. It's right there. To get to the far shields, just to walk down the corridor, and all the ammo is very, very close to the guns. You notice how I didn't have it pressed against the guns? That brings us into our next point, internal armor. If someone were to, for example, destroy the gun, they aren't going to be able to immediately get over to the ammo factories, which are explosive, and blow things up. Another thing is internal armor protecting your reactors and also protecting things from them. In this case, it's protecting your reactor from the ammo blowing up. Here's a simple ammo explosion. Blows that entire section of the ship up and sets up fires, which means you need to have fire extinguishers to help fight off fires because they will slowly rot your ship from the inside. One thing you'll notice is if I did not have the armor right here, the reactor would have blown and the entire ship would be dead and you'd be out of the fight. Another thing to pay attention to is I have a secondary corridor route. It's a slower, much worse route, but it brings energy all the way back up to here, so these guns can still keep functioning and stay in the fight. Another thing you want to look at is how I manage my crew. These crew here are the ones that sit inside the weapons. Not all of them, because of how I built the ship, but the crew that are furthest away aren't going to be that effective, so you want them just sitting down. Versus the crew that are most active, which are the crew next to the reactor, need to be as close as possible so they have a very short travel time and can quickly get where they need to be. The other thing you can notice is when my guns fire, I have my crew focused on the gun, and they're not going to walk around to another side of the ship and work something there. They're going to stay in one area and save on travel time. One more thing I want to point out is my engines. They're all on engine rooms. Engine rooms improve efficiency. But not only that, they also reduce the number of doors you need, the number of hallways you need. They make it that you can very quickly get all the energy to the room in one spot. I highly suggest using them when you can, but they're not always a requirement. Let's go over a few important pointers for making your ships. Don't over armor. In this ship here, you can see way too much armor. It slows the entire thing down. It's a waste of money. Over here, all the armor that's being put out is used to defend the front where the most of your damage is going to come. It's used effectively. There's not too much waste on the sides. It's just here to catch stray bullets. You notice defending the engines, the parts, you need to have that out there to defend the engines because some stray bullet's going to knock you around. The guy, you can't die because you got flanked once and now you lose your engines. So I have this out here to catch stuff. But this structure here is used to save on money and save on weight, which slows you down because that part's probably not going to get hit. And if it is getting hit, the engine's probably already hit. I know some of you are going to be wondering, why am I using 3 standard thrusters instead of a large thruster? It's because they're generally better. Why? The large thrusters take forever to reach their full power, and because of that lack of sudden full power, sudden thrust, and everything, it makes you much less maneuverable, and you're probably not going to use it all. It's only really good for long distance travel, especially on these smaller ships. Being nimble is very important, and in the current meta of the game, being fast in general is very important. You don't want to be stuck outranged, you don't want to be outmaneuvered. With tractor beam, someone could spin you around. Having a sizable amount of engines is one of the most important things you can have on a ship. Don't over door on your ships. There's a door to get the crew and a door to get into the missile launcher, and then there's a door to the fire extinguishers. That's just about it. And everything's so compartmentalized. A fire cannot spread from here across. There's no wasted money on doors, which can get very expensive. It causes crew chaos. Every door has directly as pathing toward any reactor. You never have auto doors on. Take a look at settings, ship editor, turn off, where is it? Automatically add doors. Make sure that's off. Don't ever trust your crew bars or ammo bars or anything. They can very often be wrong. As you can take a look at this ship, it's firing perfectly fine. All these ions, which are very crew and energy intensive, are just powering through. Don't trust this at all. Another thing I want to notice about this ship is the use of 2 control rooms. You can use several control rooms instead of 1. In fact, it's often a very good idea to use more than 1. As you can notice over here, if part of the ship blows up and I lose a section, the other control rooms are going to be able to keep it going. If you only have 1 control room, once you lose it, you lose the battle. Let's build a ship to put this into practice. I'm actually going to build a diagonal ship. So you want to come over here and change your flight direction so your engines act correctly. Another thing, change how your mirror mode is. Right click on the mirror mode, and whichever of these you prefer for the ship you're building. In my case, diagonal. There we go. I always start by placing my weapons in reactor and shielding. So you want to be building in blueprint mode because you can't place out there, but when you're building, you want to be able to do that. I'm going to go here. Let's put down some weapons. Nothing too far out. You notice how I'm using a disruptor there. I'll get a little bit into that in a second. So I can build quick corridors very close to the reactor. And the disruptor can be a part of it, and that way I don't need to worry about having a door to each, like a corridor to each weapon, because it's only 1 block that they have to cut through. Let's get down some shielding. Keep everyone safe and secure. Make sure your doors are focused. Whoop, that was a mistake. You always want to have the closest route. Don't forget to actually place the doors. Alright, let's just put down some engine rooms. But let's throw them down. Diagonal ships actually have a little bit of an advantage because their forward thrust is also kind of their maneuvering thrust. It helps them move a little faster. I'm going to throw down, we need a control room. I like to put one down diagonally right there. How about that? That's a pretty good move. Short travel time. That's more than good enough of a travel time. Get crew right next to the engine. And this is fairly close. Those are going to be the crew that focus on bringing energy to this stuff over here. And also fit in more crew here. I know bunks are less efficient, but because you get to have them close, it's worth it in this case. Add a little bit of internal armor because why not? And people trying to take down the ship are going to try shooting straight for this reactor. So let's add stuff over here just to keep them out of the way. Put down armor. Notice how I weave the armor. That increases the defense ability of the ship. That's actually way too much armor. That's going to be weighing the entire ship down. Let's put mirror mode back on. I'm just going to leave a little hole in it. That'll reduce the weight. Alright, let's add, because of all the crew, and we don't have much space around here, we're going to put down operators. Operators are going to keep things running more efficiently. Chuck some there, just out in some corners. Let's see how that goes. I'm just going to assign these guys away. So you notice how the red guys immediately took over that position because everyone values this position of this bridge very, very highly. And you're going to want to be the far out guy, so sometimes it gets taken by the wrong person, which means they'll just have to assign. It gets the job done. Let's make sure the rest of that crew, because these guys aren't going to be doing anything else, let's assign them here and here. That way the full guy is used and the other operators are running around actually getting work done. Always test the ship before you finish the job. Looks like it's working as intended. You can see the weapons are still having issues. We can fix this with crew management. Now crew won't be walking across the reactor. They're going to stick to their side. And hopefully that's going to improve things a little bit. Don't forget, when you do that, the wrong guys are going to try taking over. So we're going to have to go assign these guys like that. And this guy is going to be right over there, taking over everything else. Now with proper crew management, the entire ship is running much, much better. Let's see how well these engines work. That's some real speed. It's going to cause a little bit of crew issues, but power issues, but that's what you're looking for in a ship. You want to max out. This is crazy speed. You want to try targeting for a ship above 80, but getting much faster than that is very difficult. It's very good speed. Let's pause, go back in the blueprint, and finish the job off. Don't forget to add your fire extinguishers. You're gonna need to have at least one, and preferably only one, airlock hatch. It can go. There we go. I like to fill in these sections. It doesn't look pretty to me to have them out like that. Let's finish up the armor. There we go. That should be a decent ship. It maximizes the reactor. Short travel times, keeping things mostly running. Obviously run into power issues with the reactor, but that's what you're looking for. One last thing you might want to do is prioritize crew onto shields. You notice shields are a 6, but so are your weapons are a 7. Yeah. So some people are going to want to prioritize their shields if you want to work on defense. That's going to stop the shields from going down pretty much, or at least nearly as fast, and going to make sure you last a lot longer in a fight. If you're looking to learn a lot more about the crew as it got going here, I'll hopefully have another video up by tomorrow. And if it's there, you can click on it now.